Hi, I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Janis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Toretko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, we're back again. It's Roland Garros, day 4 we're going over. And we had the big guns going through there, didn't we, yesterday? Rafael Nadal. Yeah, he's like.
I thought you were talking about Dominic Thiem, mate. Is he not a big gun now?
He's a big gun as well. All the guns are coming out at the moment, apart from Sasha Zverev. He's keeping his guns in his holster at the moment, and maybe we'll get to see them later in the tournament as we did in the US Open.
Mate, he's going through. That's the main thing. And we've seen with Zverev, he's not always played his best tennis in the past, but he's found the way to get through events. And especially in the 5th set, he's one of the best players. Who was that guy who was on the live? Yeah, who's the guy on the live podcast talking about how when he gets to a 5th set, he's like ridiculously good?
Yeah. And that's what they asked him in the post-match interview. And one of the reporters was saying that Roland Garros, I think, especially 6 out of 6 for a 5-set win, like 5-set matches, 5-set wins. So, and then obviously you saw he was very unlucky in the US Open against Thiem. He could have potentially had another one there, but he had a couple of 5-setters that he won there as well. So.
Yeah,
slow
it was
start.
also asked, one of his other responses was saying how the reason he feels like he's so good going into the latter stage of these matches is because he feels really fit. His fitness, he feels is sky high. He doesn't. He's not struggling physically afterwards. And even after that 5-set match yesterday, he was saying that he feels ready to go again. And that is a big plus, man, especially when you go into 5 sets to be ready for the next match, which, as you know, comes so quickly. So if physically you can be there, and then you can match that mentally, and obviously Zverev's got the ability as well. You put all these things together, and he could have a good tournament.
Well, he should have a great tournament, really, considering he got to the final of the US Open. I just think he needs to cut out this slow starting. I know he's got the fitness. He should have the fitness. He's only, 23, 24 years old. He shouldn't be getting tired at that age. You just don't want to see him use up any needless energy, really. I mean, he's getting to 5 sets all the time. He doesn't need to. He's got the ability. He's got the skills. And he was playing yesterday, Herbert, who is a good player, but someone Zverev should be wiping the court with, really, and he just allowed him back in the game time and time again, and similar to what he was doing at the US Open, slow starting, and he's always fighting an uphill battle all the way through the match until he gets to the final set, and he suddenly was turned it on. Seemed like the 5th set was relatively easy.
I don't know. Credit to Herbert, he was actually class. I really enjoyed the match. Him at the net, he's one of the best players on tour, in my opinion. Obviously, we know how good of a doubles player he is with Mahut. Yes. In fact, I think he's probably one of the best ever in terms of the way he keeps winning events, and he's extremely good. And it was very evident in that match how well he plays at the net. And I really enjoyed the sort of matchup between the two. There was a lot of camaraderie. A lot of times where Zverev is arguing about line calls, and I just really enjoyed the whole relationship between the two players on court, and I thought they respected each other. Zverev maybe not so much when he jumped over the net at one point to point at a ball mark, but that's just more his frustration, I think.
Should learn from Medvedev at the US Open. You can't be doing that.
He's going to get fined heavily for that, I'm sure, right?
It's just...
Is it really worth it? I just don't see the point.
Well, it's it's done now, isn't it? So he's just going to have to focus on the next round and just hope that, he doesn't do it again. Otherwise, he's not going to have any prize money left by the end of the tournament.
Well, anyway, let's move to the comments because we've got a few of the usual suspects here. We've got John, we've got Geraldine, we've got Joel. How you doing, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And one of the questions I wanted to ask, John was saying straight from the off, Thiem's going to get knocked out by Stan.
Wow, that's a very big shout, but
he's got to get through Casper Ruud first.
Stan's come out, hasn't he? And he's said he thinks he could beat anybody at this tournament. And he's liking the heaviness and the heaviness of the balls, the slowness of the courts. He said it's just set up for him to do well this tournament. So watch this space. Stan could be one to really watch in this tournament, as we were saying yesterday.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think the way with the balls are and stuff, it's going to really suit Stan Wawrinka. I'm going to have to stick with the fact that I think Ruud's going to knock Dominic Thiem out in the next round. But I don't know. After seeing Ruud the other day, that went to 5 sets as well against Tommy Paul. And I don't know. We got 2 breadsticks served up in that match. So it's a bit weird.
Was it 5 or was it 4? No, it was 5. Sorry. Yeah, it was 5. Because, it was 2 No, it was 3 breadsticks, mate. It was a breadstick on either side.
No, but he got served 2 breadsticks.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, sorry. There was 3 breadsticks in the match. They had a little picnic.
You did get your breadstick count up, mate.
I know, mate. Don't know what's going on. Yesterday, I just had a bit of a mare during the podcast, and obviously, like with my electricity and gas went off at home, and my girlfriend was a bit stranded, so I was getting emergency calls coming through during the podcast. So I don't know what. Yeah, not ideal, but we're here again. The gas and electric's back on, and we're raring to go for going through yesterday's results. Obviously, the main man was in action yesterday. I thought there was a few more people that actually decided to come out and watch that match. Did you see that?
Well, the Rafael Nadal one.
Yeah. Well, it goes without saying, doesn't it, that despite all of the restrictions, people are going to be trying to squeeze into that court a bit more than the other ones. And yeah, he didn't disappoint, did he? It was the Rafael Nadal that we wanted to see, and he's well and truly turned up now, hasn't he? Didn't have to break a sweat in this match.
Yeah, massively, mate. He upped his level big time. What was the match before? Was it Gerasimov? He was okay. He did what he had to do. I thought Gerasimov played particularly a brilliant match. Yes. But Nadal was just kind of going through the motions a bit. Now he's sort of arrived a lot more at Roland Garros. Like, he looked good. He looked seriously good.
Very.
McDonald had no answers for him. He couldn't really beat him in any department. Whatever he tried to serve up didn't work. And talking about his serves, he even tried an underarm one, and that was pretty funny, mate. That's why it sort of inspired me to base a title on it. It was hilarious. Rafael Nadal, everyone's always talking, why don't you do an underarm serve against Rafael Nadal or Dominic Thiem? They stand so far off the baseline. This is you. This is a prime you.
Not
just
Thiem,
against Dominic Thiem.
Not Nadal.
Why not Nadal?
We've said in the last podcast, you know what happens if you try these things against Nadal. Robin Haase tried it, and it doesn't end well for you. Do not play games with Rafael Nadal.
Anyway, he's tried one. Rafael Nadal, he's like a ball, just been let out, mate. He's been starved for weeks, just been let out. All of a sudden, he charged to it, hit an incredible forehand winner, and McDonald's just standing there like flat-footed, like, well, that was a waste of time. And to be fair, the execution was very bad. It was a really bad underarm serve. Like, it was one of them what hit goes deep on the service line and it bounces up high. And to do that against Rafael Nadal, it was just it was quite comedic, I must admit.
Do you think McDonald's coach was training that one with him, or what do you think?
Mate, probably Wolf. I reckon Wolf was behind it.
You reckon the Wolf?
The physio.
Oh dear, yeah. Don't be taking those tactics if that's the case. Not against Nadal. I think. That's
I think what was happening is I don't think McDonald predominantly plays many underarm serves ever. It's the first time I've ever seen him do one. I think he just ran out of ideas. He couldn't do anything to get past Rafael Nadal. And obviously seen it. It's in the news quite a bit. A lot of players trying it, so he thought, why not? But no, he needs to definitely perfect it next time. Rafael was asked about it afterwards, like whether he thought it was disrespectful, and he was like, no. If you can execute it well, and it's a good tactic, he's very much in favour of it. Which is a nice sort of approach for him to have taken. Whereas in the past, everyone thought he was very rigid and traditional in the fact that he's completely against it, no matter what, in any circumstance.
I think they're trying to make the older players speak out against it. No one's speaking out against it because no one is bothered by it. It's only the reporters who want to try and kick up. Everyone wants to try and cause a stir. Oh, is it disrespect? No, it's not disrespectful. It's the part of the game. Just get used to it. This is more people are going to become specialists at underarm serves and use them as a great tactic. Just get used to it. That's what I've got to say. So stop asking the stupid question. Joel's saying there in the comments, I'm assuming you're going to be discussing.
Yeah, well,
we did
I'm
yesterday.
glad he said
around
that. No,
it.
let's talk about it now because a lot of stuff happened after the podcast. Obviously, when we was talking on the podcast, I think the situation was Irani was 6-5 up in the final set, serving for the match. Yeah. And you can literally watch the video of yesterday if you've not already. My direct quote was, I don't think she's going to hold this. I'm pretty sure it'll be ended up in a tie break, to which it did. Yeah. Oh, no, not a tie break, sorry, because it keeps going.
No, it keeps going.
It keeps going, doesn't it? But I was anticipating the fact that she's going to get broken, which happened. And honestly, just what a pathetic excuse of a player Sarah Irani is. It's embarrassing, mate. She was a finalist. Was she not a finalist 8 years ago?
Yes, at the French Open.
At the French Open.
Believe it.
She can't serve the ball. I forget, there's a statistic how many times she threw the ball up, like fouled ball tosses. I forget how many it was. Don't quote me on it. I think it's upwards of 30. And I think it was 48 off the top of my head, but I'm not completely sure. It was absolutely ludicrous. For a professional athlete to struggle to do that is embarrassing. And there was times in that match where she was facing match point, didn't know what to do. I think there was a situation where she was 15-40 on her serve, facing 2 match points, and she's throwing up. She's trying to do underarm serves, not as a tactic, because she can't serve, just to get it over.
It's just.
I think she'd given up at one point.
I think that just reminds me of me sometimes when I'm just like, oh, my second serve's not going. I'm just going to do an under. Yeah, I haven't been a professional tennis player for 15, 20 years. It's no excuse.
Mate, it's longer. She's an experienced tennis player, and it's quite frankly embarrassing. And in respect to Kiki Bertens, she's someone who's coming back from an injury. We know how good she can be, and she was not playing well. She was playing really bad, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Really bad.
But the reason is she was playing quite bad. It's because she's injured. She's really struggling with a massive injury coming back. And then you've got her the other side of the court mocking the injury. Did you see that? Mimicking the injury. Yeah. It's like bizarre, holding her leg, screaming, saying all these, I don't know, all this insanity. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I just don't, well, there was just her on court. I'm not a big fan of Sarah Irani on court as it is. Just, she's too, maybe it's an Italian thing, don't know. She's just screaming the whole way through the match anyway, just on every ball she hit. There was even one which was really bizarre when I watched her hitting. She's obviously so used to hit the ball with every time she hits the ball. But when it came, the ball, Burton's did a looping ball over, and she thought it was going to be one she's going to have to hit hard. It sort of caught her up, and she had to do a back step while she was hitting it, and she obviously forgot to go, and then went like, and made like a really weird noise. I was like, it's embarrassing to what I can't watch this match with the ball toss going behind your head like constantly. Now you're mocking an injured player. Now you're making weird noises for no reason. Get off my screen.
Well, after this, the saga continues. So she's walked off the court after it's ended. There was very little embrace at all between the players. I'm not sure if there was even a racket clash or whatever they call it. And she just walked off. She swore in Italian. I'm not going to repeat what she said. And then with that, you think, what's her name? Kiki Bertens. Well, she looked in a lot of discomfort, obviously getting wheeled off in a wheelchair. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just bizarre.
She was like crying in pain. I've never seen anyone win a match and leave in that fashion. It was pretty damning.
Yeah, and she's such a great player as well, Burton's. It's just sad to see her playing at a level which is so beneath her, really. You just see some of the shots she was unable to make. There was a lot going in the net. That when there was flashes of brilliance, she
wasn't moving. She was not moving freely around the court, and Irani still couldn't beat her.
She is hitting some good winners, but that she had to shorten points. But fair play to Kiki Bertens. She went through, and I think the just winner on the day. Even though I was backing Irani to actually beat her before the match, I was quite glad she lost.
Oh, mate, I was over the moon. And like Joel says there, Irani ruined a brilliant day for the Italians because the Italians were playing some really good stuff out there.
Yeah, they were.
And we'll get onto that later on. I think both on the women's and men's side, they had a good day. But yeah, where do you want to start? Should we go through some of these matches?
Yeah, I wanted to just touch on this one. If we go back to the men's,
Yeah,
one person that we'll keep talking about, and I think Pedro Martinez is looking so good. Like Kukushkin, I thought would put up more of a fight than this, but Pedro Martinez absolutely destroyed Kukushkin there.
Yeah. You did say it as well. You really did. You've been bigging him up for some time. I'll give you
I've
your
seen him
your
playing
dues.
before this tournament, and he's been playing so well against some really top players. And I'm not surprised to see him go through, but in this fashion, I am a little bit surprised. And I'm just excited to see now who he's going to face in the next round. I'm going to try and pull that up. If you just want to maybe touch on one of the other ones while I pull that one up.
Yeah, sure. Well, we'll start from the top then. We've got Gombos up there, beating Rodionov. You'd expect him to be there, and he's a bit more of an experienced player. He was the clear favourite. Rodionov did okay. He took a set. Not really much to report on the match. I thought Gombos has been really impressive. Obviously, that first round win against Borna Koric was like no one really anticipated that. And since then, he's kicked on and managed to win again. So he's into the next round. The Dominic Thiem match was really good. Obviously, Dominic Thiem, Jack Sock, they hit the ball so hard. Like, I was looking at the ball on the court and I was feeling sorry for it, mate, watching it just go back and forth, back and forth. It was really getting whacked around. And
definitely.
It was a really interesting match, really. I think Jack Sock kind of threw it away in that third set tiebreak. He was up. I think he was 6-3 up in it. And, just bottled it a little bit. He just made unforced errors when he didn't need to. But fair credit to Dominic Thiem. I thought he played a really good match and
he did
won some crucial points. So he's going to be into the next round playing
even in that
Casper
last set tiebreak, wasn't he? He was 6-3 down, I believe, and then managed to
that's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, apologies. Yeah. When he rallied and those were the points when you just see the sort of champion of him come out. And he didn't really want it going to 4 sets. He didn't want that extra set of tiredness for the next round and for the whole week, really. So he did really well to just finish that one off quickly. And now we got what a treat! The next round. This is Dominic Thiem versus Casper Ruud, like you just said, and Casper Ruud not as convincing as probably what we thought he would there against Tommy Paul. We touched on it at the beginning.
Yeah, we didn't give Tommy Paul a chance. We didn't anticipate it to go that far, especially losing 2 of the sets 6-1. It's a bit bizarre. But Tommy Paul's a top quality player. Like he's he's one of the elite players on tour in terms of he can pull out crazy results. And when he's playing his best, he's a bit like Chris O'Connell. I put them in the same kind of bracket. They're capable of pulling off wonder sets. They're really top players, but they're just unable to do it consistently for a match to be considered one of the great players.
Sure.
However, saying that, fair play to him. He made it very tight, and Casper Ruud did really well to stick in there because he's played a lot of tennis of late. And my biggest fear was going into that 5th set, a bit of fatigue setting in, and potentially him losing it.
Definitely. Well, he's now got his work cut out for him in the next round. He's just played 5 sets and he's up against a fresh Dominic Thiem, and that's not going to be any easy match, that one. So I would see Thiem probably steamrolling him, unfortunately.
I don't know how fresh Thiem will be, though, to be honest. Playing Jack Sock in the round before, he's someone who hits the ball so hard, that must take it out on your arm. I feel like 3 sets against Jack Sock can be equivalent to maybe 4 or 5 against a few other players on tour.
Possible. Well, that was...
Sorry, what was you going to say?
I was going to say, but there was one, we sort of predicted both of those results. We thought Thiem would go through. We thought Ruud would go through. Thought Bublik would do better against Sonego, to be honest, but didn't give the Italian enough credit, really. He's a really good clay courter, and the underarm serves weren't working for Bublik this time. Just went out. Go on.
Frank was saying Bublik hit some terrible underarm serves. And I didn't actually watch the match, but I feel like, I don't know, I think he's a top player, Sonego, and he's someone we don't really talk about enough. I think he's maybe top 50 in the world, and he's another young player. Maybe not top 50, is he top what?
46. Yeah,
he's top 50, yeah. So he's another young Italian player who's coming through. We've got so many of them, and what a time, really, to be Italian right now. There's so many top players coming through, and you've got even the likes of like Combacetti and stuff who aren't even at this tournament. And the future's super bright. Obviously, you've got Sinner, Berrettini. We've got Travaglia there as well, even pulling off great results. And there's a lot of them. Caruso as well. I think he's a very impressive player.
Yeah, he's a little bit long in the tooth these days, but he's still a very good player. Travaglia, though, I thought he would win this more comfortably. I don't know why, but
Really?
Nishikori, yeah, I don't know why. I just thought he would take out. I rate Travaglia pretty high on the clay, and Nishikori, obviously, he didn't look amazing when he first came back. He looked decent against Dan Evans, but yeah, Travaglia in 5 sets, and it's great for Italian tennis again. Like another Italian through.
Well, Geraldine makes a brilliant point, actually. Sonego's pretty horrible on hard courts. And
Yeah,
I think we've seen that maybe on a few occasions, a few like really shocking results against players who you'd expect him to beat. He's really like built-in clay court player, like one of these hardcore. You take him off it, he's a bit lost.
Yes.
I feel like if Kyrgios said the same comments he said about Carino Buster on clay as he did for Sonego, no one could argue. But the ones with Buster's just a bit ludicrous.
That's definitely true. I totally agree with that. There's certain players like that, and it's like a fish out of water when you put them on a different surface. But then you've got other players who thrive on all surfaces. Well, apart from grass, maybe Diego Schwartzman. He's not the hottest prospect, but on hard court,
he's a really top player, and he's just defying gravity all the time.
He's closer to the ground. He's got a closer center of gravity, maybe. I always thought that when I was growing up. I was like, do these smaller players, is it easier for them to hit it just over the net each time? I don't know if that's a thing or not. I was always something.
Not really. You'd expect it to be the opposite, right?
I don't know, because they're sort of on eye level with the net, maybe, and they can just sort of, I don't know, just hit it just over the net. Maybe it's just at a good hitting level for them just to get it just over, whereas the bit taller players might be taking it at different. I don't know. It was a stupid thought I had when I was playing when I was younger, but maybe that was just my excuse.
I think it's a stupid one. You should have saved it for your own memory, mate, not for the podcast.
Mate, I think I was probably just frustrated being beaten by small players. I was trying to come up with an excuse. I'm joking.
Right. But anyway, we're going to right at the top. Gaston win. That's a bit of a surprising one. Then Schwartzman as well, so comfortable, and he looks really impressive this tournament. I feel like Thiem and Wawrinka are the ones to watch.
I was sort of wishing that that was the other person I was going to pick for my dark horse, but I went with Shapovalov. Because Schwartzman obviously beat Nadal.
Mate, I'm not sure how good it's looking for Shapovalov. John just said in the comments that he's hit 65 unforced errors already.
Yeah, but he's got that game, doesn't he? Like it's either do or die. You go with 100 winners and then you get like 70 unforced errors at the same time, or you have days at the office where nothing goes in and you end up with tons of unforced errors and you go out. So you just have to. He's a little bit like a Stan Wawrinka. If Stan Wawrinka has an off day, you go out in straight sets. But if he's on, he'll take you out in straight sets. It's very similar.
Mate, when he's Stanimal. What do they call him? Stanimal.
That's the Stanimal. Stan the man.
Anyway, let's go down a bit and we'll go through some of the others.
Yeah, so we were touched on all of these ones. Oh, yeah, obviously the main one we sort of touched on. Alex Zverev there through in 5. And Zverev, I noticed somebody said in the comments, was it Geraldine? Said, the embrace at the awkward embrace at the end of the match between the two. And it was very strange, considering you just played like a 5-set match against someone. Normally there's a level of respect and admiration for each other, but didn't really seem like it at the end of that match at all. I think Zverev probably annoyed that the whole crowd were cheering for her better, and every time
I just thought their whole relationship throughout the match was like super interesting. Like they started off like there was a lot of joking, and he speaks German, Herbert, as well, so they're speaking in German a lot. And then as the match went on, Herbert was just having enough of his line calls, Zverev's line calls, and then he got a bit impatient with him. And then it all sort of built up to the end where he ended up losing it, and then I don't think he really cared about him too much.
No, I think he just wanted to be. I think he was probably just knew that he was going to face the press straight after, and they were going to question him for another 5-set match against someone he should be beating easily. But that is what it is. He's through. This one called it. Obviously, I don't think it was that great a call, but Correa knocking out Benoit Paire, and Benoit Paire
doing his brother proud, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But Benoit Paire not back to his usual self yet. I don't think. I'm not convinced he's back to his best yet. But
Correa looked really good though. I was super impressed with him.
You would like his next round draw, Correa, as well.
Mate, we're talking about all the Italians. We didn't even speak about Cecchinato.
I know.
Another
We're
one.
going to come
So you
up.
got Cecchinato and then Sinner there, but another few Italians gone through.
Yeah, we do. That's why I was going to just bring up who they was playing in the next round, just for you to peruse. So we had, Cecchinato is going to be playing Zverev in the next round. That's not an easy match for Zverev again.
Well, Geraldine fancies Cecchinato.
Oh, you just stopped, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back again.
I think we're going to have this a little bit on the live streams. It's just the way it is. But Gerald was saying, don't write off Cecchinato. I think he's going to have a really strong chance at beating Zverev. Exactly what you said.
You know me, though. I'm always putting Zverev down, but I always want to see him prove me wrong. But I could see him causing him some problems as well. We'll wait and see on that one. Another one that obviously Yannick Sinner went through in style. I watched that one last night. It's just far too powerful for Bonzi. Bonzi didn't play bad though, but Bonzi in that second and third sets actually had some really good play. He was hitting it. He realized he had to hit the ball so much harder to even win points against Sinner. And some of the winners he hit were really, really impressive, like some forehands down the line. But Sinner, all in all, just better player. Yeah, he's gone through, and now we see Correa versus Sinner next round. And what a match that is. Mate,
you would not think it. Sinner saying he's probably the more experienced man out of him and Bonzi. It's crazy to see, but I feel like he is. I feel like he's been around
seasoned.
On the top. He's more seasoned. He's only been around for about maybe 2 years. I don't even know, but that's more than Bonzi. Bonzi's just maybe not even 2 years, like a year and a half. I don't even know how long Sinner's been around. But Bonzi is just, I don't know, predominantly a challenger player, I feel. He's made the jump, fair play to him, and he made a good account for himself, but it wasn't to be.
Definitely did. Someone that we didn't touch on was Sebastian Corder. He's sort of been sneaking through, and he took out John Isner, which a lot of people probably thought Big John would be able to get a bit further in this. But Corder's been looking, even from before the US Open, he was looking really good, really strong. He's another young player. I think he's about 21. Or 20, something like that. He had a really close match against Rusevori. And he looks really promising in this. To beat Isner 3-1.
I think you're on the wrong day, though. This is not...
No, it's just the top here. Sorry. There was a couple sliced off at the top there. Yeah, to beat John Isner and not even going to a tie-break once against John Isner. This is like pretty mad. Doesn't happen often to Big John, does it?
No.
But yeah, he's looking so good, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing who he's going to play next in the next round, which is it's going to be a real interesting one. Pedro Martinez. So the matches are starting to get really, really tasty now, and I'm really excited for the next round because some real big clashes by top young players as well. That one's going to be a real classic, I think. And we obviously had up there we didn't touch on Taylor Fritz. We never seemed to speak to him.
I think we did. I think we did these ones yesterday when we was on the podcast because they was happening. They'd already been played. Yeah,
we sort of brushed over them, didn't we? Because Wawrinka was playing at the time, wasn't he? But Fritz, he's somebody who's going through in straight sets, and we're not even spoken about him against your mate Radu Albot.
I spoke about him yesterday, Fritz.
I know. Yeah, I know. But we should maybe. I don't know. I probably wasn't in the best headspace for yesterday's one. I probably spoke about.
I think you need to rewatch yesterday's one, and then we will restart this one.
Yeah. So Taylor Fritz, he will be up against in the next round Sonego. So that'd be quite an interesting one. We got Gombos versus Schwartzman.
Yeah, like Geraldine just said, Albot losing is not a surprise. I don't fancy Albot whatsoever.
I know Jaron's very, very much against Albot, aren't you? And think he just needs to put a little bit more effort in.
Mate, I just think he's coming to the end of his career where he just doesn't offer much on court. I hate to say it, I just don't fancy him much ever in any match.
Should we have a look through the women's from yesterday?
Yeah, quality. Let's go to the women's.
Svitolina. That was a bit of a shock. What happened in the second set there?
I'm not actually that shocked. I'll be honest. I'm going to say that now. For me, that Zarazua girl is really impressive. She's a top player. She's played a lot of matches as well since lockdown. And if you look at her record, there's a lot of wins in there. She's won a lot of matches. And I feel like, well, you could say probably the same about Svitolina because I think she's the winner of the recent event in France, right? The WTA Strasbourg. So she's in some good form herself. So with that regard, you could say it's a bit shocking, but you can't dismiss or sleep on Zarazua. She's a really top player.
She is.
And she made a good account for herself in this tournament. It's a name to look out for.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Zarazua, she is, let me just have a check, 23 years old. And yeah, she's very bright Mexican talent. So obviously loves it on the clay courts and showed there. Svitolina doesn't normally get bageled by anybody.
No.
So that's a real achievement. And she should be proud that she even took her to 3, I think. So go away and then come back stronger.
Yeah, and that one below is actually very similar in the fact that Podoroska's played a lot of matches as well of late, and she's been winning, everything.
I called this one as well, which I was actually thinking, Podoroska, like you said, she is currently on I'm going to try and go down maybe I can just share it with you and we can go through it.
Yeah, it's probably
together.
easier just to have a look.
Yeah, rather than me just trying to frantically count up how many games that she is.
Mate, just make an estimate. We'll just have a little look and be like,
there you go. Just have a look at. I've got it on here anyway, so you can just have a look back through her recent form. And as you can see here, since March, she's only lost 3 games, and you see the clay court form here as well. And she's been beating like Dodin, Bonaventure. Who else has she been taking out? Dodin again.
The core patch is that? I can't really see it.
I think she lost to the core patch, unfortunately. Well, Tamara had one of her good days there. And but she's been playing well. Like you can see, this run of form that she's in at the moment, she's currently on a 5-10 match winning streak right now, which is pretty impressive. It's going to be tough to compete with somebody who's playing in such great form. And Putin Saver, you know how good Putin Saver is. And pretty impressive. Podoroska, I think that she's one to watch maybe in the next round. Be interesting to see who she comes up against.
The only thing you can say, she has played some good players in there, but a lot of them are the more lower quality women's players. So now we're in a Grand Slam. She was obviously a big underdog even to be beating Putin Saver. Yes. So let's not big her up too much. She did very well. I'm not sure if she has in the next round, but it's going to be super tight.
If I get this right, it's good. Schmeidlova.
Schmeidlova.
And that's the one who knocked out Azarenka in straight sets. So be careful with that match, I'd say. It's not going to be an easy one at all.
I reckon it'll be a 3-setter, though.
Could well be. Like when you're in that much form, even though if you've been playing lesser known players, when you're carrying that sort of
confidence,
form,
isn't it? It just it sort of boosts your confidence massively, and you go into it thinking you're kind of unbeatable.
And that brings me to another match, which is actually on today, which I just want to touch on. I'll just pop it on the screen for us to have a look at. It's probably my match of the day for the women's, and it's a pretty exciting one, which is Rybakina versus Fiona Farrow. And this match, I don't know why. You can probably tell why it's the match of the day already. And I just wanted to have a look through some of their form as well. And we know Fiona Farrow's form, this is going to rival Podoroska's form, that's for sure. If you have a look down here and just go, when was the last time she lost? I mean, this is just crazy. I mean, she obviously had that amazing run when she won in, where was it, in Palermo?
Yeah, Palermo, yeah.
And before that, when she just came back, since she's come back, she's not lost a match. So it's still going.
I think there's a story, isn't there, that was it not in her house that she's got some tennis courts built in her garden or whatever? And throughout lockdown, a lot of players have been having time off, but she's been playing like on repeat she's not stopped at all. Like the lockdown's not disrupted her rhythm whatsoever. No. She's been continuing to play. And on clay court, she looks formidable. In that Palermo tournament, she was really good. She beat, Kontaveit in the final. And Sarah Rani was there as well. She beat her with relative ease. I wonder if she could serve that there.
Oh, God, don't. I mean, she's just super impressive. And she got past, obviously, Heather Watson. Heather Watson, I don't think she's best known for her clay court play. So that one, I don't know. I'm not going to judge her upon that performance. But this one, Rybakina obviously went through with style points in the last round. She was up against Sostea there, turned 2-0, and one was a bagel.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to
Mate,
see.
they're both really good players. It's going to be really tricky to see who's going to win. I would say my verdict is the fact that I think Fiona Farrow generally is a better clay court player. Rybakina is probably better on hard. Rybakina overall, maybe the better player. She's still very young. She's higher in the rankings as well. But saying all of that, I think Fiona Farrow is going to beat her.
And look at that, and like a massive underdog as well. Rybakina is the clear favourite in this match. So I don't know. I'm swaying towards the lady who hasn't lost yet since she's come back. I mean, how can you not?
It's hard not to, isn't it? Yeah, Fiona Farrow, she's so good on clay as well. And I think these conditions could suit her. And I do really fancy her to beat Rybakina. It's going to be quite tight. And if Rybakina plays at her ultimate maximum, I don't think Fiona Farrow can win. But even if she's at like maybe 90%, I don't think that's going to be enough. And I think Farrow will be able to beat her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Rybakina's the dark horse pick, so I'm obviously not trying to cheer too much for Farrow, but it'd be amazing to see her continue that run of form. And if we have a look, another person we haven't spoken about yet, Jeannie Bouchard. She's still continuing this comeback that she's doing and still playing really well. Went 3-3 against Gavrilova, which is pretty impressive.
Another one there, Swiatek, I want to talk about. I think she's a really good player. Super impressive, very comfortable win there. One to watch out for. Young as well. You got Sakari, she's done super well. We know how good she is. And Mertens. Mertens has played probably more tennis than anyone since she's been back. Probably not Azarenka. But she's up there rivaling that. And she's been super good since she's returned.
Yes.
I tipped her, didn't I, to win Rome, was it not? I thought she would win Rome.
So,
yeah, it wasn't to be. So I'm not going to back her at all this tournament, but we'll see how she gets on. But the big one there, isn't it? It's Halep.
Yeah, there she is. She goes through again in a Romania fair. Well, yeah, she's just taken out our country person. It's fairly easy, just a break in both. But I thought she might go more convincing, but I'm guessing she's just getting through the draw. She's still not played that much tennis, don't forget. So she's still probably finding her feet, even though she did so well in the last tournament.
Mate, will anyone stop her?
I mean, I can bring up let me just bring up the draw and see who she could be potentially playing next. I mean...
Yeah, then after that, guys, we'll probably go to the live tennis. I know Djokovic is playing right now as well.
Tough
That'd be good
match
to have
next.
a little look at that.
Halep will be playing, and Nisimova, who you can see there at the top, went through so easily against Pera, like with a bagel there.
Mate, and Nisimova's been playing super good.
Yeah. So, like you said as well, Swiatek, she's one to watch, but that'd be really interesting. She's against Bouchard in the next round. I'd expect probably Swiatek to take that, to be honest. Yeah,
I don't know if you want to go down right to the bottom. I'm pretty sure there was Coco Gauff there. Was there not?
Yeah, there is. Just there at the bottom. What a match that
so that's
was.
the last one we'll talk about. And that was a really epic match. I'm kind of happy for Trevisan, to be fair. Another Italian yet again. Like I was saying, there was even some success on the women's tour as well. Coco Gauff did look quite good in the match, especially in the first set. Even in the third set, I'm not sure if she was up a break or not, actually. But there was a few dodgy line calls that really went against Trevisan. So I'm actually quite happy in the end that she was able to win it because I think she did deserve it.
Yeah, Battle of the Youngsters, wasn't it, that one?
Yeah.
We've not been talking about Sophia Kenin at all during this.
Well, she's playing right now, apparently. I think she went through and won the match. I'm not a big fan of her on clay courts. I think she was down a break the last time. Well, before the podcast, she was down a break. So she must have clawed it back.
Did you want to share this again? And we can have a look at what's going on right this second. And wow, look what's going on there at the top with the clay court specialist, Caballes Baena, up against Shapovalov. And my guy just hanging in there by the skin of his teeth. He's trying to force it.
It looks like it'll be a fifth set. And I'm super happy that he managed to take that second set because it wasn't looking good. Baena was serving for the second set. He got broken, went to a tie break. And Shapovalov, I wasn't sure where his head was. He took a medical timeout again. So that's a ridiculous amount of medical timeouts he's taken. I think he took 3 in the US Open. He took 1 in Rome. He's taken a lot of medical timeouts of late. And is it a tactic? What's actually wrong with him? I don't know. It just seems it's a bit fishy, to be fair, but you can't really criticize him too much because it's in the rules. You're allowed to do it. So you've just got to respect the fact that that's what he's doing. It probably is a tactic. I don't doubt that. I don't think he really is injured. But it's hard to say. And with that, another one there. Garin just won.
Just gone. That's it. Match point and done. And Pullman's put up a little bit of a fight there. But Garin, clay court specialist. And yeah, he's through to the next round. But obviously there, just above, Martin, he's gone through. Fucsovics is in straight sets too. And in style. That's really great for Martin. Love to see that.
I'll be honest. I didn't see any other way of. I didn't see him losing whatsoever in this match.
No, I didn't.
Ramos has not been particularly great. I think he's he certainly has come to the end of his career now. I'm not sure if we're going to see much brilliant tennis from him ever again. He's been a brilliant servant to the sport. But yeah, Fucsovics, he's just what an athlete, mate. He's just full of fitness. Like he can go the distance, and it'll be good to see who he's playing next because I wouldn't want to play him.
Another match point here as we're talking. Karen Khachanov is there. He's got our match point in the 4-set tiebreaks against Yuri Vesely. Well, he's got 4 match points. Can't see him losing from here, surely. And there you go. As we're talking, Khachanov is through to the next round.
Mate, we're getting through all the results.
That's it. So if we haven't had a chance to watch these, we have to go back and have a watch. This one was one I wanted to get onto as quick as possible. Daniel Altmaier is destroying what it seems like 2 sets up against Struff. I thought this would be a close game. I thought it'd be closer than this.
I don't know. I'm really impressed with Altmaier. We know how good he is. I think he's like 180th in the rankings, but he's certainly got potential for me to be a top 50 player. He's got all the attributes, and I think it's going to be super exciting. Looks like he's coming back from that horrible injury he had in 2019.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fair play to him. Hopefully he can get through and beat Struff. I'd like to see him in the next round.
Well, he could be playing in the next round either Lloyd Harris or Matteo Berrettini in the next round. So that would be a very, very interesting match. If he was to come up against Berrettini, that's where you can really test yourself. How good are you at this level?
Berrettini, I don't know about these conditions. I think it could really suit a Berrettini because he's someone who really hits for a ball as well. His forehand's pretty epic, and that's what he relies on. Massively, like a solid serve and a brilliant forehand. His backhand's pretty good as well. He's got a great game, Berrettini, man. Like he's someone who could really trouble any player.
Just wish we could see him in a Grand Slam final or something sometime soon.
Well, maybe this year. Like I think there's no reason why he couldn't do it.
No,
I think he'd have to beat Djokovic en route though.
Consistency.
I think he's in his quarter, so he's going to have to beat Djokovic.
He doesn't seem to be able to maintain the high level through 5 sets, and I think that's just where he's lacking a little bit. If he can do that, we could see him in a final, and I think it'd be great. He's a great character, I think, in the sport. He seems to have a really top personality. He's just seems like genuinely just like quite a funny guy as well. Just like a very relaxed personality. Just where you just need more of these type of people on the tour. You've obviously got to have the good with the bad. It's interesting to see the hotheads, but it's also interesting to see the smooth Italian who's just pretty funny and just likes to have a laugh as well.
Well, you've got Montero there as well. We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah.
But he managed to win in 3 sets against Marcos Giron.
Expected one.
Mate, and that's really good as well because it's the furthest he's ever got in a Grand Slam. The furthest any Brazilians got in a Grand Slam since 2011, and that was can you guess who that was?
The Brazilian in 2011.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. You're gonna have to.
You do know who he is. He plays now.
Are we still playing now? God, you're gonna have to put me on my misery. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to just rack my brains and kind of
get a pressure on a live podcast. It's Bellucci.
Yeah, exactly. Who?
Bellucci.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember him. Bit of an older name, isn't he? Yeah. Good player.
So he's doing brilliant. He's repping for. Yeah, there we go. Manuel Zegreg. He knew the answer. Maybe we'll do a few questions like that every podcast, and you guys can see if you can guess it. And like Joel says, Montero sneaking through unnoticed. He's a clay court specialist. Really top player. A bit of a warrior on court. And the Brazilians have historically got a very good record at Roland Garros, so it's nice to see one of them back to this historic tournament playing well.
Be interesting to see who he has in the next round. Oh, it's not an easy one. Martin Fucskovic in the next round for Montero. So
that's exciting. That's going to be a really good match.
That one will be tough. Tough for both.
I'm going to try and watch that one. I think I'd enjoy that.
Yeah. And, well, as looking down there, and Andre is losing to Dimitrov. We thought he might put up more of a fight, but Dimitrov's so good on his...
Mate, no, we both said that. We both said a 3-0 Dimitrov.
But we thought if he could squeeze a set, Andre on his best, but doesn't look like
I don't know if I said that, mate. I think Andre, it's just a bit of too much of a gap. It's the level above, mate.
Look at that. I mean, it wasn't far wrong. Come on, 7-5 in a tie break.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. That's a lot closer than what I thought it would get, though.
See,
Gallon Rivera is your boy.
Yeah, he's doing well. Again, he's such a good clay court player. Sangren, I'm surprised he's got so far already. But you never be surprised if he comes back and it becomes a 5-set epic with Sangren there. Oh, it happens very often. As we're speaking there, look, Carreño Buster has just taken the first set against Guido Pella, 2 great clay quarters going at it. And Carreño Buster, he'll be looking to try and get into another Grand Slam semi if he can as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And the big man there, world number 1. He's up a break in that first set, and Berankis is going to be it could be a quick afternoon at the office for him.
Yeah, what do you guys think about the Djokovic match? Is anyone watching it right now? It looks like it's relatively comfortable so far. Wouldn't be surprised if it's done in 3 sets in about an hour's time or something, mate, if I'm honest, the way Djokovic has been playing. I don't see him troubling them at all. And then if we look at the women's, the one I want to talk about actually on there is Ostapenko. Yeah. Really super impressive, and obviously it's that Caroline Pliskova again. We've already said I wouldn't say hatred. That's a bit strong.
Just disappointment.
We're just disappointment. We're not big fans of her. And Ostapenko hit I forget the number now. I think it was.
I can bring it out and just tell you what.
Have a look at her winners.
Okay.
She hit, the big difference in that match was the amount of winners she was able to hit, and she was she hit 27 winners. So it was a really good match to 9, yeah. And that was the difference in that match. Pliskova was in it, but Ostapenko was pulling out some really good shots. And we know what Ostapenko's like. When she's on, she's on.
Yeah.
Like when she's finding the line, she's okay because she's always going to go for winners, but it's just whether or not she's finding it in the court or not.
Yeah. She's just like a bit of not a loose cannon, but she's like when the cannon's firing in the right direction, it's unstoppable. But sometimes it can just go a bit erratic and go all over the place.
Someone's unscrewed it a little bit and just go anywhere.
Literally. But it seems like there's 2 personalities. There's the Carolina Pliskova who plays the rest of the year, and then the one who plays in Grand Slams. Can't the other one turn up for the Grand Slams once in a while? It's just getting a bit boring watching her go out when she's seeded so high every time in these tournaments.
Yeah, another one there, Kvitova playing really well. And the one there's really disappointing. Towson's gone out. Yeah. I've been bigging her up so much. I think I've cursed her already.
Yeah,
I thought she would. I really didn't think she could win, but maybe it is a little too much too soon. She's only 17.
Yeah,
exactly. You know? And yeah. Brilliant match against Brady. I'm sure that did take it out of her. I think it was like 8-6 in the final set. So
Collins is so good as well.
Mentally and physically, that would have been very tiring for her.
Collins is a real step up, I feel, as well. So she'll be proud of what she's done. She's probably earned a nice packet from what she has done this week. So she'll be going away probably head held high and a nice healthy bank balance to boot. So, yeah. Look down, Sabalenka, she went through, and Kenin went through as well in 3. So, which other ones have we got? We got Fernandez.
Leylah Fernandez. That looks like a 3rd set, isn't it? That's going to be a decider there. And Badosa's beating Sloane Stephens.
Interesting. Spanish though, I don't know. I would probably expect this to be quite a tight match, but Badosa to maybe come out on top. And then the Tig. The Tig's on. Come on, the Tig. Come on. She's up against Mikhail. And we're hoping the Tig goes through because we want to see the Tig do well. We love the Tig. One I wanted to say today, which was sort of one that I was looking at other than Rybakina and Farrow, which you see down the bottom there, that we spoke about already. The other one I want to touch on is this one. Christina Pliskova taking on Garbine Muguruza, and I think we could see an upset here today, and that's what I'm going to say. I think Pliskova can show her sister how it's done. And
I disagree. I think Muguruza's going to do her.
I think Muguruza went 8-6 in the final set of the last match, and I don't think she was looking that convincing. I don't think she's looked convincing on clay since she's come back. I think Christina Pliskova, I've been more impressed.
She's someone who needs a long match. I feel Muguruza. She needs to sort of feel herself into a match a lot more, because we know how much ability she has, and I'm hoping that she's able to sort of transcend that in this match. And I think if she's firing, Pliskova doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough for Pliskova. If she's on Muguruza, it's not going to be an easy match at all. But Pliskova's been playing very consistent tennis, and that's what I like to see from her. Something her sister could take note, really. And I think there could be an upset. It might go to 3, but I think we could see Pliskova take this. That's just my shout.
Yeah, apparently Djokovic, everyone's saying Berankis is a sitting duck out there.
Could well be.
What else do they say? Geraldine said almost as easy as the Weimer match was.
No, it's no surprise. And he had a little. Do you see Djokovic in that match as well? He was having a little bit of a problem with his elbow again. So this is like the injury which ruled him out, that he never got surgery on as well. And I hope that we don't see a recurrence of that injury, because it's going to be super disappointing if Novak Djokovic has to leave another tournament early, but we don't get to see him give it his full whack, really.
Mate, I still want to see a Rafa and Djokovic final. Although we've talked about all these brilliant other players, it would still be pretty epic to see that in 2020.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for joining us today. I've enjoyed it.
Indeed.
I'm sure Ben has as well.
Yeah, if you haven't, obviously we love having you guys on. It always keeps throwing in all the questions. We love answering the questions. And if you haven't liked this video, please hit the like button. It just helps us out so much. And if you haven't subscribed yet, obviously hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, apparently Novak Djokovic with that's taken the first set in 22 minutes, so it's probably going to be over any moment soon.
We'll be back to bed soon then.
All right, thanks guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.